all, welcome to GeekFreaks. I am Frank, and today we have a brand new podcast joining the network. I can't wait to share with you guys. It's called Anime Plus. Here are the hosts. What we're going to be doing today is going over the industry of anime. I know it's a real weak spot for me. I'm sitting there, I'm still watching Brotherhood Alchemist and stuff like that, some of the older stuff. So I'm not up to date on the new stuff. Introduce yourselves, and more importantly, tell us about Anime Plus.
Okay, Aray, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Aray. I'm one half of the Anime Plus podcast. So a little bit about the podcast is we mostly focus about anime and other stuff in the industry. So we do manga, we do sometimes live actions. We like to go over everything, even though anime is so broad. So it could be anything from like cosplaying. It could be like voice actors. We actually had one come on to one of our episodes not too long ago, and other cool stuff like that. But yeah, that's just a little bit about the podcast. And then we cover news too. That's like our other side of things.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll introduce myself really quickly. My name is Owen. I'm the other half of the Anime Plus podcast. Just to, piggyback off of what Aray was saying, we cover everything anime. So we have two segments. One is kind of a personal segment where we'll go over articles, give our opinions on anime, kind of let you guys know what we're going to watch in the new seasons, and just give insight on our opinions on anime in general. And then the second kind of segment there would be the new segment. One thing I'd kind of want to add here is we do take two perspectives in terms of the way we view anime. I would say Aray's kind of he knows more about anime. He watches more anime. He knows more about manga. So he comes from a bit more of the like facts, details, and
insider info, stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then I come from the more casual kind of aspect where honestly I don't do too much research. For the first couple of years of me watching anime, all I was watching was shonen. I wasn't even going into any of the isekai or slice of life, or I was literally just fights. So then kind of Aray opened my eyes to so much more in terms of anime, and I take that approach where I feel like a lot of our audience, some of them they're just like me, where they don't know too much and they're trying to understand more, and then some are like Aray, where they know a lot and they're just trying to get more of that high level information. But yeah, that's kind of what we're doing at Anime Plus. And then last thing I do want to add to that is our whole goal at the end of the day is to build the biggest anime community ever. So definitely, join the Discord, follow us on Instagram, follow the socials. We try interacting with everyone, and our whole goal for our Discord is to connect like-minded people. It doesn't matter what walk of life you come from, as long as anime and manga is that central point. We could all kind of chill and vibe together.
Your guys' Discord is fire. I gotta say, holy cow, y'all got a community over there. It's awesome. Love it.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, a lot of our guys, they've been there for a while now, and they're pretty much our homies.
Yeah. You guys have been recording since 2021, correct?
Yeah. At the end of 2020. Yep.
Yeah. Over that time, Owen, have you learned anything from Aray that's kind of like changed your perspective on an anime? He's that insider. He's got the little cuts that you don't know about. Have you embraced some new things because of that?
Yeah, 100%. So I was the type to just never. First of all, I never knew dates. Like, okay, this is coming out this time. This is coming out this time. I never knew the dates of anything. Also, I just I would only get my information from Instagram or TikTok, right? So that was the only type of information I was getting, and it would always be 6 months late, and I'm seeing this new anime. I'm just going ahead and watching it, and then it was also again never watching other genres. So ever since starting Anime Plus, I've started watching sports animes.
Oh wow!
Just I never watch sports anime. I barely watch sports to begin with, and I'm out here watching sports anime. I watch a couple romance, even though that's kind of not my thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're slice of life, isekai. I've started getting into a lot of these other genres where it's not always fighting, adventure, and stuff like that, where it's more, chilled out. And there's other aspects. There's other aspects to anime than just fighting and
Right.
animation and adventure. And that was kind of like the only thing I was introduced to. But since now we do the podcast, I get the news every week, and it's like it's as if I'm like a viewer of the show because I'm getting all this information firsthand on the show,
Yeah.
pretty much. Yeah.
It's such a fun dynamic, though. Is there anything, Aray, that you want to share to somebody who's not very familiar with anime? And then also, what is it that you find like the real hardcore anime fans want to talk about the most?
All right. So what I would say to the first part of that is, firstly, there's a spot for everyone in anime. Like whether you're like we'll call them casual mainstream watchers. Like typically that would be like shonen. Like
That's me right here.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's my Demon Slayer. Those are like the biggest ones. You know what I mean? Like
Demon Slayer's so good. Yeah.
those are like the main ones. Like you can be still in the community even if you watch just that. Then, like we talked about earlier, like there's like hardcore fans, and I don't even say I'm part of that. There's people that do a deep dive. They go into the like everything, like from the animation studio to like watching every single seasonal anime that drops. So the way anime works is like they have different seasons. So like it'll air like 12, 13 episodes, and then that season's over and new one starts. And there's maybe like 40 to 50 that come out every single season. There are people that watch every single anime in that season. So that's like what I consider a hardcore. You can be that, or you could just like, I know Owen talked about this before in one of our earlier pods. He went to a convention, and there were people that were just cosplaying and they've never even watched the series. So you could even not even, you know what I mean? Like you don't even have to be an anime fan. You could just like the series or that particular character. So that's my answer to the first part.
It's funny you mention that because now that I'm thinking about it, anime has such a cool art style that you might just vibe with the way somebody looks and then want to portray them and without actually knowing all the details. So that makes sense with anime specifically. Yeah. So going into your guys' podcast, Anime Plus, again, 2021, what was the decision to start a podcast about anime?
Okay, I'll let Aray take over the first part because he's actually the guy that started it all.
Yeah.
So I'll let Aray take the first part of this.
Yeah, so I'm sure a lot of people coming off COVID didn't really have anything to do. I think I started up like 2 different podcasts with some of my other friends. We were doing like basketball. At the time, I had zero experience with podcasting, didn't know anything. We had like 6 or 7 people on it, and we were just all kind of talking over each other.
Oh, God.
And then, it was terrible. So then one day I hit up Owen. I'm like, dude, we should do an anime podcast because we talked about this before, but like we call it like our origin story. We both went to like a boarding school, and the first question I asked him was, "Yo, do you watch One Piece?" And he said, "Yeah." So then that's how we kind of started talking about anime. So he was the first person I thought of, like that I got to start an anime podcast with. So we had zero insight or like any idea where it was going to go. We just wanted to start one. So that's kind of how it started off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I'll say it from my perspective, and just to like that whole boarding school situation, I'll go a little bit deeper into that. So, Aray, he's already been there for like a year or 2, at the school. I'm coming in. I'm the fresh guy. I'm the new guy coming into the school, and then I get put into his class, right? And I have no friends at this point. I don't know anybody, and I don't know. Out of nowhere, one of the first conversations we ever had was about One Piece for some reason. Yeah. And like, I'm the biggest One Piece fan ever. And then as soon as I knew that he watched One Piece, he knew I watched One Piece. Boom! It was locked in. It was locked in from there. Like, and I appreciate that so much because when you go to a new school, meeting new people. Sometimes it's difficult to meet new people, and Aray was connected with pretty much everybody in the school. And then once we were boys from One Piece, it was a good time from there. And that just goes to show you, like, anime can cause such a great friendship out of nowhere, like literally out of nowhere. I knew nothing about him. The only thing I knew about this guy was he watches One Piece, and boom, he was like one of my best friends at that point.
What that tells you is he's into commitment, because that is not a short show to get into. Oh man, and adventure for sure. Yeah, so you guys start this podcast, you start talking about anime, you start building this community. Over the years, we talked about like what shows like one has embraced because of anime, but what are some of the things you've learned from podcasting that you guys have picked up over the years?
Like the podcasting, like itself, or like
that,
anime?
well, not just that, but like in aspects of anime. Like, have you seen like, yeah, you know what? People really seem to go for Demon Slayer, or people want to learn more about the hidden gems in anime, which I think might be a highlighted area.
Yeah. So, opinions. People have strong opinions on everything.
Oh, I bet.
Right?
Yeah, I bet.
I love One Piece. I have strong opinions on One Piece. I talk about One Piece all the time. And then that's part of like a little trope of ours in our like community, is that like I'm addicted to One Piece. But I do have very strong opinions on other anime, and I know like for example, for me, Demon Slayer, like I don't shit on Demon Slayer, but like I love the animation, but I just don't like the storyline that much. Yeah. And I just also don't like that Tanjiro himself. Like, what happens in normal shonen is that the character keeps getting stronger, and then they verse the Hashira, not the Hashira, or the demons, right? But in Demon Slayer, it's like he always needs help to beat the next person. That's something I don't mess with, or I don't vibe with. And then I always, vocalize that. People are always on my ass. Like that. Fullmetal Alchemist is another one where, I mean, honestly, I watched that when I was a bit younger. So I think I should rewatch it. And I always try giving a fair opinion. Right? I always try giving like anime chances, even if I don't like it in the first episode. A lot of people don't like One Piece in their first episode, and it's totally reasonable. So I always try, giving chances. But I've learned that people have very strong opinions and will say whatever the fuck they want. Yeah. So that's kind of where I also like I vocalize my opinion as much as possible, and I've learned so much about what people think about anime, certain anime, what people think about certain genres, just stuff like that, just because of podcasting, which I would have never known before. Because it's like when you don't speak to a community of people about the subject, you'll never know. Like,
yeah, you're in your own little bubble, and you just kind of bounce around in there. That's a really good point.
Exactly. That's kind of like, for me, my bubble was me, my cousins, some of my friends that watch anime, and then Aray and some of the other guys over there. But that's pretty much it.
And then you go out here, you start bad-mouthing Demon Slayer, and you start finding out, oh shit, there's more people in this community than just me.
Yeah, exactly. Another one's like My Hero. My Hero's getting a lot better. I mean, My Hero's getting a lot better, but I do get a lot of like not slander, but slack for it.
I love to. This is what I'm learning from you. Okay, so definitely, One Piece, everybody loves that, but you also kind of just like are not into the popular stuff. You're kind of like that indie guy that's like, nah, man, Britney Spears sucks. You guys got to check out this one band that's like locally plays in Denver, some random thing, and nobody else knows about. And you're just like, no, you guys are all wrong.
I think what it is which is bad, I base a lot of things on One Piece. Like, it's like, that's my like source to base, because One Piece was my first anime ever, right? And for me, because of the way I watched anime, One Piece did not have the best animation. So I'm someone that doesn't really care about animation too much, right? For me, I really care about plotline, story, characters, world building, right? And some people will literally not watch an anime if it doesn't have good animation. So that's where like everybody has their own things that they watch out for when they're watching a show. And I think that a lot of these newer shows, it's not that they're played out, it's that they're not as original as the older shows, but they do have amazing animation, amazing like graphics, transitions, stuff like that, which I love that, but it's not something I personally look out for as much as the other things per se. So
right. Aray, over the time, what have you learned in podcasting?
Yeah, I feel like I've learned so much. Like, honestly, I started off the similar way to Own, where I would just watch my shonen anime, and then through the podcast, I started branching out a little bit more and more. And as I talked to more people, and from guests to like our community members have got me to try like one of my weakest genres was like romance or slice of life. So I've learned a lot from that, and also just us doing like we do a lot of like top 10 lists or a lot of like top selling manga. Just by doing that and research with those topics, I've been learning a lot about like all these we'll call underground series that there's like a niche audience to. You know what I mean? So those that's been something I've learned a lot about, and Japanese culture. That's another thing.
Oh, that's a great point. Yeah. Speaking of Japanese, so like my first anime, this is going to sound, well, no, it's not my first one because Inuyasha is my first one, but I would say like one of them that really got me to explore it, and it sounds so weird, is Avatar: The Last Airbender. What are your guys' thoughts on that being considered an anime?
Okay, so we actually had this kind of debate on our podcast before, right? And my whole thing is, if it's made in Japan, it's like its source is Japan, then it's anime. Right. That's kind of like what it is, you know. Was Avatar sourced in Japan?
No.
Okay, so that's where I see it, because I don't know. It's a very thin line. Like it's a gray area, because like I would consider Avatar anime, right? But like I don't know. Then there's the integrity part of it. It's like anime, like. Anime is like a Japanese sourced medium. That's how I see it. It's like a medium.
You see it as the source, not the style?
Yeah.
So like G.I. Joe, that's animated in Japan, but made by America or for Americans. Do you think G.I. Joe's anime? I'm not saying G.I. Joe specifically, but I know like DuckTales and things like that. Are those anime as well?
So wait. It was sourced in Japan, but made in the U.S.?
Made for Americans, but animated in Japan. There are a lot of, I'm not saying necessarily G.I. Joe specifically, but I know like DuckTales, a lot of those like 90s Western cartoons are those anime.
See, that's where the gray area comes. Where it's
I know, man. I
don't even know what to tell you over there, because I want to say it's anime because it was sourced in Japan, but then it's would you say the animation style is like cartoonish? Okay.
Right. Yeah, it's a little tricky, right? Because like obviously they're not styled after anime, but Avatar: The Last Airbender definitely is styled like anime, but I mean it's all Western, of course. That's one thing that's really interesting. Like for the Avatar, a lot of people who come into anime through that avenue, it's such a good way to be like, hey, check this out. Okay, now you want to see what it's based off of or where they got the ideas from. Go over here, check out these anime. I think that's a good way to go into it. I consider it anime just because again I'm such a mainstream lightweight anime fan. But I could see definitely the arguments against it, and those are completely valid in my opinion.
I think there's a gray area where like, if it's made in Japan, but it's made for like Americans or like the West, I would say it's still anime, but the style of animation is cartoon.
Yeah,
that's the best I could come up with.
That's tricky.
Like, you know what I mean? But
it sounds like an episode right there. You guys, a whole discussion point. Now, Aray, to go to you. We were seeing a lot of these live actions, and boy, it seems so hit and miss to me. I personally think that Netflix One Piece is phenomenal, but there's so many times where it just doesn't hit. What are your thoughts on all these movies coming out, these live action adaptations from anime?
Yeah, so my personal opinion is all right. Let me backtrack here. So when we first talked about the One Piece live action, like we got news about it, Owen hated the idea of it.
Yeah.
Like, we're going back and forth. He hated it because, One Piece's favorite anime. We've seen live actions completely fail in the past. Like, Dragon Ball Evolution is the biggest one. I came into it with an open mind. So did Owen. Owen watched it, and he really did enjoy it. They did change around a lot of things in the story, but still, I think our end result with the One Piece live action was if it gets people to watch the anime or at least support the series, it's a win in our book. So that's kind of how the way I look at it. And just like overall in the anime industry, there's been a lot of series, not just like series becoming live actions, but also like novels, like American novels or Canadian novels becoming anime adaptations. So it's just like all these different mediums are starting to become anime and vice versa. Like anime is starting to become live action. I think it's a good thing for the series and the creators. So I kind of like it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it spreads awareness to a lot of other people. It's one of the things I constantly say. Like all your favorite TV shows and movies are based off of a comic book or a video game nowadays. Everybody loves The Last of Us, and it's like wait until you play the game. You know, it's out there. So I think it's just something that's getting out there more and more.
I do want to add something to
yeah.
this. The One Piece live action. Yeah, I did think it was gonna be shit. To be honest,
Yeah.
I was like, "There's no way they're replicating." There's so much like fake stuff, like Luffy's arm like stretching, just these crazy powers that just happen, right? That you could do if it's drawing, right, or animating, but how do you do that in real life, right? It's like a fish man. How do you create a fish man in real life? It's so weird, right? But they did such a phenomenal job with the way they showed like his powers, the way they showed each character. They did have to take out a couple things here and there, but that's why we call it like an adaptation. It's not like a one-to-one. It's being adapted to live action, and they did a phenomenal job. The characters really embodied the characters in the show. Like the powers looked really good. Even the fishmen looked like actual like fishmen, which I don't know. They used some crazy CGI or whatever they used. Like it was insane. The plot line, the way they changed it, they did really minor tweaks to the plot line, but you have to think about it in a way where like they're fitting a whole 100 episodes into 8 episodes, right?
Yeah.
So the way they adapted it made the story flow so well, even though it was changed a little bit, but it flowed so well, and you got most of the information out of those 100 episodes in those 8 episodes, which was phenomenal. So I'm excited for the next season that's gonna come out. I know they had a little delay on it or whatnot in the beginning, because I think it was the same. Was it that writer strike thing? Yeah, I think it was the same exact thing that happened there. But yeah, definitely excited. And if you are, if you aren't a One Piece fan yet and you're trying to get into the show, the live action is the perfect way to get in. And then also, and the beauty of it is it's all on Netflix. Like Netflix does a really good job of like making everything so succinct and easy. Like it was on the homepage of Netflix for like a month or more, which was insane. And now Netflix is also coming out with a new version of One Piece in 2025, or was it 2026? That's going to be a lot more condensed, better animation, just all the bad things about One Piece. They're essentially fixing that. Yeah, and making a new version.
The things that make it less accessible, I think, is probably even better way to say it. Because I think one of the things with One Piece is it looks so daunting, and then there are so many what we would call filler episodes or whatever that are like, oh, we didn't necessarily need an entire episode, whatever. So yeah, they are bringing that down quite a bit. I think it is 2025 that's happening. With Netflix, we've noticed lately that they're coming out with a lot of anime. There's the Godzilla anime. I don't know, everything else. Do you guys see Netflix becoming a home for, or one of the new pioneers in anime?
Yeah, I'll let Aray take this one for sure.
Yeah, so to kind of backtrack with the history of anime, back in the day, we used to have Toonami. So a lot of people I'd say like mid-20s, sometimes even early or late 20s. We started off with Toonami, and that's how we kind of got our introduction to anime. I'll call them the OGs just for this example, right?
Yeah.
That's how I got my anime. And then after, they kind of got rid of Toonami, or they made it harder to access, like it was less accessible. So a lot of our generation would pirate these type of shows, right?
Yeah.
And then from that point on, like you'd go to YouTube, you'd watch it, series would be like flipped around. It would just be crazy ways you'd have to watch it. And then there was Crunchyroll that came around. And Crunchyroll originally started off as a pirate website. And then that became... Yeah, it became like a legitimate streaming company. So Crunchyroll does have a bunch of anime, but now Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus in other countries, and even I think Max, they had that Suicide Squad anime on there. So there's like a bunch of different streaming services, so it kind of does suck. But I think Netflix overall does a good job of having the mainstream stuff from like One Piece, Black Clover, My Hero, but also like Owen was talking about, they have like the live action that can convert you to become an anime fan.
Yeah.
They have also one of the best algorithms of like, oh, if you like One Piece, you're gonna like Black Clover, you're gonna like Naruto. So it's definitely possible that that happens. I also was reading some report, and I can't give you the exact numbers, but Netflix makes so much more money on anime than Crunchyroll does, and Crunchyroll is specifically for anime. So yeah.
I wonder if it's because there's like a broader appeal. Like you could be watching anime and then maybe somebody else in your family wants to watch some sitcom or whatever. It's all in the same hub instead of having to like switch out. Maybe there's something there to it. Boy, the pirating thing, that reminds me so much. I've got a buddy, Daniel, who in that time, I was the computer guy of the friend group. And so every 3-4 months, he brings over this disease-riddled, virus-filled computer. Hey, I need to fix this. What happened? It's anime. The anime websites are sketchy. Then stop going to them, damn it. No. Another 4 months later, here comes this diseased computer that I gotta fix and clean up. It wasn't gonna stop him at all. Oh man. Where do you guys, so with Anime Plus, how do you structure your episodes? I know we have news episodes and discussion episodes. Going into those, what's your prep like that? And then and where do you see Anime Plus going into the future? What are your plans going forward?
Aray, I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, so for we'll call them like the discussion episodes, I usually try to think of a topic. Every once in a while, me and Owen will come up with something, but I usually don't tell Owen anything because it gives him like a reaction. So it'll be like a top list, or we'll be talking about like, I don't know, we'll go over synopsis of new series, stuff like that. So I try to make it so Owen has zero idea. Every once in a while, I'll give him some homework, like, yo, help me think of like, so-and-so, whatever. Mm-hmm. So that's the episodes that come on Thursdays. And then Tuesdays, I come up with, so I use a website called Anime News Network. I grab all the news, pretty much everything on Twitter, all the major news that I can, and I compile it into like one like Google tab. And then we just kind of go through all of that. So Owen gets his initial reaction, like a brand new reaction, and my reaction is kind of I'm like kind of going off of Owen's reaction, but also it's like, oh, now I get it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the way we compile the episodes.
Well, and the different perspectives, I think, help so much because, Owen's coming to this information new while you're the deep diver, but also Owen is kind of the more mainstream, not to, whatever kind of, and you're the deep diver fan. So when you guys are interacting with each other, when you're sharing news, you get his reaction, and then you see like that's the reaction from somebody who's just casually watching anime. So it's a really good dynamic that you two have. I really enjoy listening. It's a blast to hear you guys talk, and that kind of like surprise reaction out of Owen is always a blast to hear. That's really cool. Where's the future of Anime Plus going?
Yeah, so there's so many different things that we want to do. We want to incorporate our community a little bit more. We just recently had an episode with one person that joined our Discord like maybe 2 years ago. And having him on as a guest was really fun. We talked about like what got him into anime. He's from a different generation than me and Owen. So there was like so many cool things to talk about. So that's definitely one thing I want to do. Another thing that me and Owen were talking about is, so we both got our significant others to watch One Piece. So I'm doing a rewatch with my wife and he's doing a rewatch with his girl. So that general reaction is something that we want to like portray in a podcast form. Obviously, we're still like workshopping it and there's so many different things. And that's some of the things that we want to incorporate within Anime Plus.
Yeah. Even like short form videos of just like, hey, here's the next 10 episodes. What are your thoughts on this or whatever? And getting some like a TikTok video out or something like that would be fun to kind of see that adventure as they explore anime with you guys. Yeah. And then with the state of anime in general, how do you guys feel the anime industry is right now compared to even 10, 20 years ago? And how is it improving over time or failing?
Yeah. Okay. So I'll say my little part, and then Aray can say his because I think we both have perspectives on this. Honestly, they're probably similar, but what I'll say is, and you could probably relate to this too, where like, okay, elementary school, middle school, if you're the guy that watches One Piece and anime in general, you're getting shit on. Like, you're getting, like, laughed at, like, they're like, what are you doing? Like, anime's cartoons, it's for dweebs, it's for nerds, this is that, right? It wasn't popular amongst a lot of people. And it was kind of, honestly, like, a coveted community where, like the anime, like, communities, like, they're their own thing. Like, they don't really mesh with anybody else. The kid that's doing the Naruto run in school, kind of weird. Like, you know what I mean? That's kind of how anime was seen and portrayed over, like, when we were younger, right? But as time went on and as time continues to go on, is becoming the new wave. Anime is becoming fully accepted. It's becoming not even accepted. It's like the new cool thing to do, right?
Agreed.
We have sports players watching this. We have celebrities watching this. We have anime. Everyone's trying to get a piece of anime. They collab with Fortnite. They collab with McDonald's. They collab with literally anything you can imagine, like the Lakers, the Red Sox. Like these like very popular and mainstream industries are also trying to get their hands on anime, and the reason is because it's shifted over the past 10 years where it was very looked down upon, right? Like before, I wouldn't tell anybody I'm watching anime. Now my first question is, do you watch One Piece? Like, and then like, or are you watching any anime right now? Like that's kind of my first couple of questions when I get to know somebody or get to meet someone. So it just shows how much the views of anime has changed. And one thing I'll say is the same way FaZe Clan kind of changed the way everything gaming was. Like gaming, oh, you're a gamer, you're just inside, you're not cool, you're whatever.
Yeah.
Like you're just inside the house for the whole day. Now it's like FaZe Clan has kind of changed that dynamic and made it cool and made everybody kind of like you have again sports players playing it, celebrities playing it, well like everyone playing games, video games and whatnot. And I would say FaZe Clan was kind of a big, accelerator for that, and that's kind of what we want to do at Anime Plus is kind of be an accelerator for making anime cool again, or just more acceptable per se. Yeah.
And just to kind of piggyback off that, I remember like in middle school, I used to play football, and during football practice, there was a kid that used to have like a Naruto ninja headband, and I remember I was like, "Oh, that's mad cool." But the next day at school, all these kids would make fun of him. I'm like, damn, I can't let people know. You know what I mean? But fast forward to 2020, after COVID hit, I feel like that's another accelerator that we don't talk about as much. I like to call it like AD after Demon Slayer. Kind of know how like the calendar is like, it's like after Demon Slayer, I feel like anime started to become more popular. Like if you go to a gym, you've got tons of people with like anime gear working out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like it's normalized now. You know what I mean? And that's definitely a good thing for us anime fans.
And then on the sports thing too, there are more and more people where like you're seeing people talk about anime that are basketball players, football players, and I can't remember which clip it is, but I've seen like where the like, hey, don't badmouth it, Pokemon or whatever, or like I'll call it Pokemon, and I'm like, no, watch your mouth. And that's just good. And so it's good to see that like the cool kids are into anime, because there was a time back when I was in high school, I remember one of the cute girls in class that was getting me into anime, and it was like almost like a drug deal, sneak me DVDs of Inuyasha and then Vampire Hunter D. Like we were doing something wrong, but that was just kind of at the time was so geeky that you didn't want people to know that you were watching Vampire Hunter D, because you'd have to explain everything to them and it wasn't worth it. So yeah, it's kind of becoming, now it's so much more open and much more accepted, and that's awesome because there's such good storytelling there. It's crazy good storytelling. So I'm glad everybody's getting into it. That's cool.
Yeah, I would say to piggyback off of what Aray said about the AD after D, that was actually first time I've ever heard that. That was funny as hell. COVID was a huge because everybody was at home. Yeah. Because they couldn't go out, you couldn't do anything. That was the perfect time to watch anime. So many people, I don't call them the OG fans. If you started watching after COVID, you're a post-COVID watcher. But like, obviously you're still a fan. I'm not gonna take that away from you. But it was so many people. Like even I would say 3 of my cousins and like a couple of my friends just started watching Attack on Titan and like a couple more anime during
so
during
good.
COVID.
So good, man. I still got to watch that last one. I'm waiting for the English dub on that one. But god damn, that got me so good. I hated the change when they changed the animation studios for Attack on Titan, and I was like, man, that old one just hit me so much better. And then they changed it, and it seemed like it went darker, and whatever. Now we're going off on a tangent. Now I'm getting all on Attack on Titans. That's how it is. Speaking of AD, for me, it was a manga. I started reading manga after Demon Slayer because I got into Demon Slayer manga. That was my very first time reading it, and I'm just like, it's such a good pace. It's so fast. It's so fluid. This stuff's written to be just devoured in an hour. It's so good. And I don't think even like American comic books aren't that way. It's something about it. I don't know what it is. I can't suggest it enough, guys. Demon Slayer, I think manga is fantastic. Yeah. All right, guys. So we want to make sure you guys are following up on everything Anime Plus. It'll be links in the description, of course. And then we'll have them on the website, too. As of today, they're on the website. You guys can watch clips. You guys can watch videos. Everything you want to know more about Anime Plus, it'll be there. We're going to be sharing them on our social media. But I want you guys to follow them on their social media. I want you to follow them on their Discord. Like I said, it's freaking fire over there. So check that out, guys. And then if you guys are in the East Coast area, you're going to conventions, something like that, hit them up. Let them know you're going there. There's a very good chance they're going to be there, too. And just keep spreading this anime community. I think that's amazing. It's really cool. Thank you very much, Aray and Aunn, for joining me today. And again, welcome to the community. I can't wait to keep sharing your guys' show with other people. Yeah, thank you guys for joining me.
And thank you so much for having us. I had a great time on the pod. Definitely love to do this, ever so frequently. I feel like having a different perspective of. I love talking to people that have different perspectives on anime, and it was amazing. The questions that you threw at us and everything was amazing. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed my time here, and I appreciate you inviting us.
Yeah, me too. I really appreciate it.
and because you guys are part of the network, you guys will be on GeekFreaks in the future, I'm sure, talking about Marvel stuff. We got the concept art or whatever we were just talking about before we press record. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff in the future too. So I can't wait to have more conversations with you both. It's going to be a blast. That'll be a good future ahead of us.
100%.
Right, follow the links in the description. Join everything, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Peace.